My friends, today I am just throwing. I have been away on a motorcycle trip for a couple of weeks and home for, I guess, almost a week, and I have had no time to throw, so this is going to be interesting. Anyway, let's turn it on. I did not want to put any makeup on. And I just thought I would film this, and you can just watch it as you're doing your own glazing or whatever you're doing. Or don't watch it at all. Anyway, I'm just going to start by throwing a mug. This is 1.5 pounds. I think it was 1.5 pounds of Plainsman white stoneware clay. And I'm just going to, just throw a simple mug. I always start like this, make it into a bit of a mountain, seal the bottom here. Throw some water on it, get the feel of it in my hands, and then start coning up. Now, a lot of it comes back, but some of the finessing parts might not come back so well. Okay. And this clay has been sitting, right? Like, I wedged it, but it's been sitting. I did mist it before I went, and I put extra bags on it, but still, it's been sitting for a few weeks, so I'm hoping it's not going to be too difficult to throw. When I was at Kim and Todd's, Kim has her wheel set up where she stands, and I'm thinking I like that because I am starting to feel it in my back a little bit. Now maybe I need to readjust my chair, but I think that it might be better if I made it so I could stand while I threw. What would be awesome if I could make it just an adjustable platform of some kind, so I could stand if I feel like it, or sit if I feel like it. That would be good. Okay, well, it's not too bad. One more time. Yeah, that feels pretty good, actually. So, and feel free to comment, but if you don't feel like it, you can just shoot me a little heart or something. It's okay. And feel free to ask any questions, of course. All right, so where's my little sponge? All right, there's a sweet spot on my wheel that goes extra fast, and I need to find it. There it is. That looks pretty good. I think it's about 3.5-inch cake, something like that. This could be a big mug. And I'm not editing this. That was the other thing. I did not want to edit today. I'm basically throwing, talking, loading. Okay, so I usually use 2 thumbs to open, and it's so funny, I usually use my middle finger to test how far it is from the bottom. Of course, you know, sometimes it doesn't work, but generally, like now, it's too thin. Of course it is. So now I have to bring that in a bit. Of course it is. I'm on camera. Why wouldn't it be too thin? Okay, let's see where it's at right now. It's still kind of thin. So bring some down into the bottom. Make sure it's good and compressed, because you've just hollowed out the bottom. Let's see here. That's good. Oh yeah, so it's about like that. I don't know if you can see that or not. It doesn't matter. Something like that. Okay, so then I'm going to use my thumbs and bring the floor out a bit, but I'm holding this in here like this, putting my thumbs in and bringing and spreading out the floor, making it bigger in there, but holding this so it doesn't move. So all that's going to happen is the clay will come up a bit, right? So that's how it's going to work. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's usually a 2 3/4 floor to about 3, depending on what I'm doing. All right, so then I use this and I just compress, compress, compress. And when I do it this way, I just never get any cracks. I never get S cracks. If I do, then I guess I wasn't thinking that day. Okay. Good and compressed. Perfect. Bring it in a little. And I will use, my first pull is never aggressive. And I'm no master. I mean, I'm just showing you how I throw, and then I'm going to talk about a few things as I throw today. That's it. I keep learning from other people, just like everybody else. Then I usually make a little groove down here. Oh, sometimes I'll use my sponge just so that I don't dig my finger in too deep. Start bringing it up. Ooh, I can feel I'm losing it. Holy cow. Guess it's to be expected when you haven't done it for a while. I think I might have saved it. I think I might have. Let's feel. Oh yeah, good. So I have a bit of a skirt down here. I'll just take that off. Usually use this tool. And I like to put my hand inside while I'm using this tool, because then I can feel how much I'm cutting off, if I need to cut off more, or if I have enough for another little pull down here. Right now I have enough for a little pull. Just a second, I think my camera is a little bit low. Sorry about that. We'll be doing other things, so. Okay, here we go. So just a little pull. I don't know if I need to come all the way up yet. No, I don't think so. Here, it's a little bit thicker right here. thins out, of course. Okay, good. I feel it's a little uneven in here, so I can take this rib and just strengthen the wall. Right. Good, so now it's strong. And while I'm thinking about it, I can take some of this water out. This is a zine tool. I like it. It's telescopic. So do the grandkids. It gets a little annoying sometimes. Okay, so now I'm just going to shape it. There's a particular shape that I really like. Not that I always use the same one, because I certainly do not. But it usually comes out like that. And then right about here, it comes in like this. Well, that didn't quite work actually, but who cares? First one. And then I use the other side of the rib and get myself a little bit of a lip flare. Not too much. I don't like that when they're really... Yeah, that looks pretty good. So what I do notice though is that down here there's a bit of a flare, which means the skirt is thick again, and or the bottom, and I want that trimmed. So I'll put my hand on the inside so I can feel how much I can trim away. So let's get this looking better. And this is, yeah, so it's, I guess you would call it trimming on the wheel, which I like to do because I don't want to do too much trimming later, if any. So there, that's good enough, I think. It's a little bit of a... I'll take time to finesse it right here. I mean, just to finesse it on the wheel as much as possible. There, okay, I think that's good. So now you get how I do it. All my cylinders are about the same. And so anything I make today while I'm filming will be made the same way, okay? This just compresses the rim a little bit. You can use a chamois, whatever you want to use. And this, you know, just this is where you finesse it a bit. You can always trim, but yeah. All right, then I do not wire it off. I take it out and I put it on my table so that I can put it back in. If I put it over there and I see that something needs to be changed, I can just put it back on here and do the changes. I can wire it later, okay? All right, now you know. Let's go to, I think the next ball that I wedged is 2 pounds. I always like to just tidy up before I start again. I don't know, I'm not one of these people that loves to have my tray all full of stuff, like clay. Sometimes it gets that way if you're doing something really large. That's just the way it gets. But I don't know, I just like to give it a little wipe. And then, oops, sorry, you get to see my head. I have a 2-bucket system. So I've got a bucket over here. And this is where I put my, like in this bucket is where I put my spall sponge and the tools I use all the time. Sometimes when the clay gets too much in this bucket, then I don't like to leave my sponge in there because it'll settle in the clay, so I'll just put it in my tray. But when I go to start a new project, then I will use a big sponge in this bucket to wash my hands. and then I will dry my hands. So my telescope sponge is in here and some other tools. Okay. All right. So let's dry up here. Well, what do you say we do an oil bottle? Oh, so I'll wedge my clay and put how many pounds is on it when I put it in my container. I'm telling you, I'm loving this because right now I'm the only person on this farm. Everybody's gone and I'm like, oh, I can just film away. Nobody's gonna bug me. It's awesome. Of course, I love everybody, but you know, it's nice to have time by yourself sometimes where you don't get interrupted. Okay, see? Start the same way. Seal. This will take more, take more. Okay, so anyway, we did about 3,500 kilometers on the trip on motorbikes, and it was great. It was a good holiday. We always go to an Indian motorcycle celebration for about 4 days and then go home, but this time we went east and we went into Saskatchewan from British Columbia. So and saw some people we knew, and then saw Kim and Todd. So I do have that video coming. It's mostly edited, and I would probably finish it today, except I do not want to put makeup on today. You know what I mean? Unless you're, well, guys wear makeup too. I was gonna say, unless you're a guy, but yeah. I just do not want to put makeup on. And I've got actually a lot of orders to fill, a lot of 3D printed orders, so I need to do that this afternoon, and the printer's always on the go. You might even be able to hear it in the background, maybe not above the wheel. I can still feel this is not good. This is not wedged. I would really love to have a pug mill. Kim has a pug mill, and I mean, it's big and everything, and I'd really love just to have a small, inexpensive pug mill. Because you could just, you know, put the clay on there and center it within seconds. It would be so great, but yeah, there's not enough money for that right now. And I really would like advancer shelves, as a lot of you already know. So, anyway. So, what's coming up? Well, I'm home for a few weeks, and then we're off to our cottage for a couple of weeks. And then we're home for about, I guess, 3 weeks, and then we're off to the United Kingdom, to Stoke-on-Trent, which I went last year and loved it, but wasn't there long enough, and I knew that I wanted to go back. And then it came up that their clay supplier that our friends go to, so if you have followed me before and follow other YouTubers like Jeanette from Far Forest and Sarah Hallam from Sarah Hallam Ceramics, and Maxine from Collie Pit. And who am I missing? There's lots. Julia from Ceramics by Julia. Lucy from West 2. Andrea from Ruby A Ceramics. Kay from, oh sorry Kay, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Kay, I forgot. Oh, this is terrible. Okay, it's gonna come back to me and then, oh, this is terrible. Anyway, Kay. Mudsoul's Pottery. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kay. And to anyone else I forgot. Sorry, I'm just doing this on the spot. Okay, thanks for joining me. Let's go. They all get their clay from pot clays. Okay, I'm gonna just do this because it's bugging me. So this is going to be about the same diameter on the bottom, but there's more clay here. So, because I need more clay, right? You need more clay for coloring in. And I was doing an oil bottle, wasn't I? Yeah, I was doing an oil bottle, so yeah. Okay, so they all go to pot clays. And pot clays every year has a open house. And it came up that they would all like to meet at pot clays at open house day. So the long and short of it is we're all in the same hotel, and we will just, you know, get together and do some things. Like, of course, in Stoke-on-Trent, they have the pot banks, right? Like Gladstone and Middleport, and actually there's Wedgwood comes from there, and Port Marion. I mean, there's so much to see. I'll still never see everything. And, sorry, I just got to stop and make sure. Yeah, it's a little bit thick here. But Pot Clays has their open house, and then they also, on the, like the day before, they do workshops, and Mako comes in, and yeah, so we're all going to do a workshop, and, you know, just have lunch and go out to dinner and things like that, and it's just going to be fabulous to see the girls again for me. And so we're doing that at the end of September. And then we'll take a week to go to London. And Les is coming with me. He's never been to the UK. And he usually doesn't like to travel so much, but I guess he just thought, okay, he's coming. I'm like, okay, but you're going to see pottery people, like, you know, just, you know. But of course, there's other things to do there. So whenever he wants, he can go off on his own and see other things. So, yeah. And then when we come back from that, well, if I haven't got to start on Christmas, which I have to before we go, really, then I have to get busy, because Christmas starts quite early. Like, you know, Christmas stops about mid-December for me. Christmas is busy right after Thanksgiving, and I mean the Canadian Thanksgiving for me. So the Canadian Thanksgiving comes before, which is about mid-October, comes before the US Thanksgiving. So I already need to have Christmas stuff by the middle of October. So I'm not actually sure how it's all going to happen, right? Because I also belong to an orchestra, and I need to practice, and I need to go to rehearsal, and there will be a concert in there somewhere, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I also take care of my mom. Right now she's My mom, I go see her definitely once a week and talk to her most every day on WhatsApp. So, and I like, of course, like to do that. And so, you know, there's just things. And then you have appointments, you know, it's life, that we all have it. So that's what's happening. Now, when it comes to 3D printing, because some of you have ordered from me, and I have some things designed already that I need to start posting for the fall. And I have ideas, other ideas. I am serious though, you guys. Like, I know it's partly because I do flat, so far flat items. I do have rollers on the go. But so far they've been flat items. So that takes up a lot of printer bed time, because some of them take quite a while to print, which is why they're a little bit more on the pricey side. I understand that, but and the price will have to go up a little bit because things go up. But I could seriously use I seriously could use another printer, if not two. Like, it's just crazy, which I'm thankful for. Thank you very much, and I'm so glad you like the stamps and cutters. I really do. Most of them are my own designs, and I enjoy that, you know, like sitting in the evening on my tablet or whatever and just refining my designs, so the next day I can put it into different programs and figure out how to make it into a stamp or a cutter. Okay, this is just going slower because I'm yakking, okay? But it's okay. And but and also, you know, I belong to the Indian motorcycle chapter here, which we've been getting together for about 8 years, and we have a wonderful chapter. Like, I would say that it's par with our pottery community. They are good people and kind, and think about, you know, they don't like to exclude anybody. So even though, like, we're an Indian motorcycle club, we don't care what you ride. If you want to hang out with us, you can. We don't care what you ride. Whereas in some motorcycle clubs, you have to have the make of the motorcycle. So, you know, so Harleys are allowed in our Indian motorcycle club. Okay, now I want to take some of this bulk off, and this fly is bugging me. Oh, flies, especially when you live on a farm, right? Okay, I want to take some of this off because it's going to be an oil bottle. So you want to get it the way you want it down here before you start collaring in, right? So I always put my hand on here like I told you. Make sure it's trimmed the way I like down there. If I wasn't yakking so much, then I could maybe not spend so much time on this, but whatever. I'm happy to spend time with you, so oh well, that's just life. Okay, so then I want to go in here and just use my rib for a bit. Make sure it's good and strong. And I'm getting the shape of my bottle now. It's not quite going the way. Oh, here. Okay, that'll be fine. So I'm done just using my fingers, right? So there's a shape I want, and this is it. So let's. All right, that's good. Now make sure all the water's out from inside, and add water to the outside, just the outside, and go nice and slow. Okay, so you can do this at this point too if you want, because it's wide enough. It works for me. I mean, it's all what works for you. There's no right or wrong. But I do this 6 point at a certain point. I use 6 point collaring in. Okay, it's flaring out quite a bit, so I will bring it in this way first. Make sure it's nice and wet, right? But don't get it on the inside. Okay. You can see it's starting to ruffle. That's because it was maybe a little thinner up here than it should be, and so when you bring it in, it starts to lose it a little bit, so it starts to ruffle. But that's okay, because if it really ruffled a lot, you could just cut it off now. But so what happens when you collar it in like this is it starts to get thicker in the neck. Yep, getting there. I really gotta grease my spin doctor. It's pretty loud. Okay, so right now I'm just going to take my needle tool and cut that off a bit because it's quite roughly up here. We're going to bring it in some more. And my neck is quite thick, so I'm just going to put my finger down there and very slowly thin out the neck. And it'll become uneven. That's okay, because you can cut it off again, right? All right. Now, this is too long of a neck, but that's perfect. That's okay. Well, maybe it's not. No, I kind of like that line, right? That profile. Good. But let's compress that rim a little bit. And I'm going to, because it became uneven again, I'm just going to take off a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to see where I'm at. Now, the way that I do have a formula that my late brother gave me, but I did find that I can use my spout that I have. Let me just get the gunk off my hands. These spouts from Amazon. And I just, okay, it's actually a little bit tight. So I just kind of, if I can get the whole thing in and it's just touching, like just touching this top ring. Oh, stupid fly. If I can get the whole thing in and it's just touching or just a little bit away from that top ring, then I know after it's all fired and shrunk and everything, this will fit in nice and snug. And that's how it works for me. So right now, it's a little bit too narrow. So I'm just going to bring it out. It looks like it, and it's fine. It's a fine difference. So like this is too big now, I can tell. Oops. See, it's just too big. So now, go back in. Test, test, test. Always testing. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Yeah, that's going to be good. I'm just going to just a touch more. Compress. We can finesse that later too, but look at, I pulled it out too much. It's nuts. It's nuts how fine it is. But it is that fine. There we go. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, perfect. And the thing is, I can always trim it a little bit if it's too tight. But I cannot do anything about it if it's too wide. If it's too wide, you got a bud phase. That's just what you got. Okay, so then I will just look at the profile again just to make sure it's going good. Okay. And I probably don't have my rib here that I usually have, and I'm not going to get up to get it. It's a little metal rib that I use to just take off the slip, but I'm not getting up, so I'm just going to use the sponge. Nice dry sponge here. There, that's it. And then I'll use my tool to trim on the wheel. Now I can't get my hand in there now, right? But I already did before, so it should be okay. Just don't dig in too much. Okay, good enough. Great. There you go. That's how I do my oil bottle. Or I guess a bud vase. All right, so I'm just going to pause you because I need to wedge some more clay, but I am going to, of course, wipe out my bin here, my tray. Okay, so that's what's up for me for the fall. It's a very busy fall again, but and every year seems to get busier, and you know what? It's because it's busier with good stuff. You know? Yeah, what did I do? I don't even remember what I did earlier this year. But I did do something. I thought I went somewhere. Isn't that ridiculous? Anyway. Yeah, I want to know what you guys are doing for the rest of the year. I love it. It's just that I really look forward. In January, I just don't, there's no pressure, right? I just don't do anything. That's when I shouldn't say I don't do anything. I just make stuff that I want to make. And take time to do other things. Usually purge my house. That's usually what I do in January. Okay, I'm just going to pause you because I need to wedge some clay. Okay, I thought this time I'll just throw a small bowl, and I can, is that hair? Hair is wicked for pottery. That is like having a real fine slicer. I sure hope that wasn't hair. Okay. I'll show you how I fire my rims. You know, I don't want to just keep throwing mugs while you're here. And quite honestly, about throwing mugs, you know what? I like to do it in the morning, which is ridiculous. I mean, I shouldn't put that pressure on myself because there's other things I could do in the morning. But I like to do it in the morning, and I have to tell you, I'm not one of these people that can pound off 30 mugs. Like, I do maybe 8 pieces, and then I'm like, I'm sick of throwing. Time to move to the slab roller. So consequently, I always have like mugs and trays and all sorts of things, because I just don't like to be standing at the wheel for that long, I guess. I just get tired of it. It's crazy. Anyway, I wish I could, because I would love to do what Kim does. If you go into her showroom, she's just got so much pottery. Like, how can you make all that? And she's fast. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, okay, so I'm doing a bowl. Don't forget that, Audrey, you're doing a bowl. Okay, so on my next video, like this, I'll just yak about how I don't know, my artistic shelf and how I got into pottery and la la la, but for this one, it's just whatever. We'll just do this one bowl so I can show you how I do that. I mean, they all start the same, right? They're all cylinders, basically. Bowls I actually pull out differently, and lots of people do, but you know, you're trying to get that shape on the bottom. I have done ones where it was a cylinder, so there's a definite circle with a inward edge and a flare out, for sure. I have done those too, but sometimes it's nice to throw with making the bowl that nice curvature, right? Okay. I can still feel there's some unevenness in there. Okay, so then going on to next year, it'll be in NCECA, the National Council of the Ceramic Arts in Baltimore, Maryland, in March, and there will be a bunch of us there, a bunch of us YouTubers. There's something funny going on here. There's a bit of an inconsistency in here. And so I have also designed my traysy, because you trade with all sorts of other people, and so it's time to get busy making those. I don't really want to leave it until January, but we'll have to see how everything goes. Okay, there's a bowl, right? Just a little one, obviously, because I'm on this insert system. So let's do that. That does not look centered yet. There's some inconsistencies, but we're just going to work with that. All right. So, a little bit in. Now, if it's a bigger bowl, it's a little bit different, right? So, I'm just getting my depth here. My floor. And I find it's harder to judge the depth of the floor on a bowl. It just, for me it is, I don't know. We all have our little weird things, don't we? So I'm just going to check it. Good. All good. Okay. So normally I would do this, right? And make a floor like this. But now I'm going to come in and do this. So just to bring it up a little bit and keep that shape on the bottom is what I'm doing without getting deeper. Okay, so I just start like that, and then you're gonna have to get all this bulk out into your bowl, right? So I just start pulling up right from the back up. but don't get too thin here yet. Don't get too thin on your rim yet. And you can pull the inside out more. Dig in here. You're just trying to get all this bottom weight up into the walls of your bowl while thinking you don't want to get too thin on the rim. And if you do, then compress it. And you don't really, you're trying to stay away from getting a rim, a bump right in here, because it happens. It happens a lot. You can trim it away later. It's not the end of the world, is it? But it sure is nice if you can keep all these things in mind and make it work for you. Okay, so let's get in there. Okay, and I find I'm using this whole part of my hand to keep that inside of the bowl moving without ridges, I guess, you know, like not ridges. You can have ridges, but that bump I'm talking about, it just helps to keep that inside of the bowl a nice shape, I guess you might say. Okay, and I can feel a bump already. Like, it's just crazy how it happens. You just, you know, you forget what you're doing and there's that bump. Get in here, get as much clay as possible to bring it out. I want to show you a flare, so I want to bring it out to, you know, it was rounder before and you could leave it like that, for sure you could. It still feels a little bit thick down here, so we're just gonna get maybe one more pull down here. Get to the thinness you want. Of course, with bowls, well, with anything, I guess they're going to be just a touch thicker at the base anyway. So you could leave it like this. So you could have left it bulbous, or you could have left it, leave it like this. You can leave it any way you want it to your bowl. I'm just making sure the inside has no bumps. It doesn't. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just trim a bit. It's just a small bowl. It's only this was only 1.5 pounds. And I wish I didn't pull up enough clay, but I'm just going to trim it away just because I don't want to keep you waiting. Okay, there we go. All right, good. So it's a nice little bowl right there. But I'll show you how I flare them out. So even on the big bowls, like I have really big bowls where I do the flaring out business. I know, I can't stop fiddling. Okay, stop fiddling. All right. And okay, good. Just gonna take away some of these ridges. Get it nice and the way I want it. All right, fine. Okay, so what I do is wet this thing in your bowl and start from the top and just give it a little push and then work your way down. Now when you get down there, you can just maintain the curvature of your bowl with that side of your rib. It's a little bit hard. I actually should file away this rib here so it has a not so much of a point. Yeah, that feels pretty good. So there's that. That's a cute little bowl, isn't it? But hey, let's just test our let's just push it too far. No, I don't want to, but how about a little further? Ah, it's nice. No bumps. Nice and yeah, that's nice. I like that. Isn't that cute? That is so cute. Oh, watch me just punch it in. I'm just compressing that. Gosh, isn't that cute? I like that. It's not even that big, but it's, yeah, it's cute. Like my hand is like that big. I have a big hand, that's true, but yeah. Okay, so let me take that off and we'll just finish up. Hey, if you made it this far, tell me you did so. Look at that. Geesh, do I sound a little bit pleased with myself? Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Next time I'll have a different story. Like I said, I just didn't want to put makeup on and I just didn't want to edit. So thanks for hanging in. And I wanted to show you something at the same time. So, all right. See you later, my friends. Peace out.